Republicans are arguing today that Americans would have changed their vote if they'd known about this investigation into Hunter Biden. Is that realistic? How serious is this, do you think, for Hunter Biden and by association for his father?
Well, it's hard to know. The name Hunter Biden was ubiquitous during the last 4 months of the campaign, so it's difficult to know that anybody's votes would have been changed one way or the other. I think the more important principle here is that when there is an investigation like this, it should go forward without fear or favor, without intervention by now President-elect Biden or anybody else in the process. So that's fundamentally what you do in a democracy based on the rule of law. We haven't seen enough of that lately. And so at this point, we can speculate all we want. We just have to wait until the process plays itself out.
Donald Trump is still relentlessly tweeting about election rigging. He calls it the greatest election fraud in the United States. There's now this Texas extraordinary case going on. Is that likely to uncover anything of significance?
No, it is disappointing, and it's important not to just trivialize this. It's deeply damaging to the democratic system in the United States and democracies everywhere. What you have seen is that on just this week, every one of the 50 states, according to deadline, have now certified the results. Those are done. Next week on the 14th, the Electoral College actually formally meets to kind of cast their ballots, not in person, but in process. And so the process is normal, is unimpeded, it goes forward. I think the court case count against the Trump campaign is something like 43-1 at this point, and the only one that they've won was one in the immediate days after the election in a certain county in Pennsylvania where they cut back the deadline for turning in ballots. But every other one has been found to be without basis, without facts, and knocked back. It is striking that politically the president has been calling to the attorney generals and the governors of now 17 different Republican states to get them to file what they call amicus briefs to basically say they support this Texas case to the Supreme Court, hoping to overturn the election in other states. It's a remarkable development, but most people looking at this see this as just stagecraft. These are people just continuing to kind of appeal to the president in what his demands are right now in the short term. I don't know anybody who's looking at it seriously thinks it's going to change the results one way or the other.
Gordon, here at home, almost every other day now, it seems like we're seeing another sector targeted by China. How much could our trade dispute have to do with China needing to fill that $14 billion agricultural buying commitment to the Trump administration?
Well, there is some element of that. I don't know how direct the linkage can be made. On the one hand, because most of the agricultural products that Australia provides to China are part of a global agriculture commodities market. If they don't fill wine orders from Australia, they can fill them obviously from Napa Valley, but also from Chile and also from France or anywhere else in the world. So it's really not as direct a linkage as one might think. But at the same time, given the fact that there is political pressure on China to meet certain targets, that it does inevitably serve as an incentive to them to meet those needs on the U.S. side and a disincentive of them to kind of solve things quickly on the relationship with Australia. But the truth be told, I don't think China's actions are being driven by any specific commodity or any specific trade deal, but by a much broader strategy in terms of its positioning in our region and in the world.